Hi students, let's learn about indirect speech, backshift in tense and time. First, let's review the difference between direct and indirect speech. We need to know that there are many rules in changing direct into indirect speech. If we are talking about verb tenses, the verb tense usually changes. So the rule is, when we report something, we need to go back a tense. Indirect speech, also known as reported speech. What the person said doesn't need to be word from word. So remember, the verb tense usually changes. Now let's check the difference between direct speech and indirect speech. If you see right here, we have a sentence that says, I am hungry. This one is the direct speech. We are talking about a boy. So let's check the indirect speech. Here we have it. He said that he was hungry. That is in parentheses. It's up to you if you use it or not. The other option is he said he was hungry. We are going to start talking about indirect speech using present tense. So remember that you have to take note. Present tense. We have the tense, the direct speech turns into an indirect speech. The tense we have present simple turns into past simple. Direct speech, she always wears a shirt. Indirect speech, she said, that is in parentheses. Remember that it's up to you if you use it or not. She always wrote a shirt. Again, we have the tense, the direct speech turns into, and the indirect speech. Now we have the present continuous turns into past continuous. The direct speech is, I am looking from my card. Am is an orange. Check it. Indirect speech, he said, that is in parentheses, he was looking from his car. Again, we have the tense, direct speech turns into indirect speech. But now we have the present perfect turns into past perfect. Direct speech, he has is in orange, written 3 emails from his teacher. And the indirect speech right now is, he said, that is in parentheses. Remember that is because it's up to you if you use it or not. He had is in orange, written 3 emails from his teacher. Now let's talk about the indirect speech using past tense. Remember that you always have to take note, so please take note right now. past tense. We have the tense direct speech turns into indirect speech. Tense, we have past simple turns into past perfect. Direct speech. My mom gave me a hug. Gave is in green. Indirect speech. He said that his mom had given him a hug. We have again tense direct speech turns into indirect speech. Tense past continuous turns into past perfect continuous. Direct speech. I was talking at the cell phone. Indirect speech. He said that he had been talking at the cell phone. That is in parentheses because remember that it's up to you if you use it or not. Again, we have tense direct speech turns into indirect speech. Now we have past perfect. It turns into past perfect. The same. So, direct speech. I had taken English classes before. Indirect speech. She said that had taken English classes before. Now let's talk about indirect speech using will, would, can, could, should, and might. Remember that you have to take notes. Will, we have tense direct speech turns into indirect speech. Tense will turns into would. Direct speech, I will help you later. Indirect speech, he said, that is in parentheses, he will help you later. Now with would, we have tense direct speech turns into indirect speech. Would turns into would is the same. Direct speech, I will visit you tomorrow. Indirect speech, I said that I will visit you tomorrow. Let's continue with can. Tense direct speech turns into indirect speech. Can turn into could. Direct speech, you can stay with me. Indirect speech, he said that I could stay with him. cooled. Tense direct speech turns into indirect speech. Tense cooled turns into cooled. It's the same. Direct speech. I could cook pasta. Indirect speech. He said that. That is in parentheses. Remember that it's up to you if you use it or not. He could cook pasta. Should. The tense is should. Turns into should. Is the same. Direct speech. I should cook pasta. Indirect speech. He said that he should be cook pasta. Might. Tense might. Turns into might. Direct speech. He might be late. Indirect speech. He said that he might be late. The last topic is indirect speech using time and place. Take notes. When we are talking about place and times, that direct speech changes into indirect speech. If you see right here, we have direct speech, reported speech. Remember that reported speech is the same thing of indirect speech. Today, that today, now, then, at the moment, yesterday, the day before, days ago, days before, last week, the week before, next year, the following year, tomorrow, the next day, the following day. Here, there, this, that, these, those. Ago, previously, before. Tonight, that night. You have the tense change. Direct speech, reporter speech. That is the indirect speech. Will, would. Can, who. Must, have to. Must or have to. May, might, might. Should, ought to, ought to. So here you have some tips to how use the indirect speech. Remember to study. See you. Bye.